Hey y'all, it's been a minute since I had a word for y'all, but I'm back today and I wanted to read through y'all because your girl's been reading the Bible all over again, and I'm in Genesis 12 and 12 to 13. And what I did come across, I wanted to share with y'all, right? So this is called You Are Who I Say You Are. And God gave me that title literally as I read the text and I was about to start making my notes. And I just wanted to go through it with y'all because I feel like this is for somebody. So we have the story of Abram's timeline, or at least the beginning of it. In Genesis 12, God let us know that he made a promise to Abram in Genesis 12:1 when he opened up saying, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation and I will bless you. I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you and I will curse those who curse you. Although the people on earth will be blessed through, and all the people on earth will be blessed through." So let's take a pause there and look through it because look at the promise of God. Like, imagine God literally just pulling up right in front of you, having a full conversation, and like, Shaq, I'm gonna make your name great. I'm gonna make sure that you are blessed. You are great. You will have a great nation, like not just you, but like generations, a nation, right? All your people. Um, he was able to hear and confirm what he said to him about making him great, that he's going to be able to use you to be a blessing for others, in addition to making you great as well. That he is fortunate enough to be that guy, and all he had to do was obey God to receive his purpose. So that's what he did. He packed up, he took his wife, his nephew Lot, alongside with lots of people as well. So they're traveling to an unknown place or an unfamiliar place because they're going to Canaan, right? Because that's the promised land. And based on what the Lord is going to show him, so he really didn't have no clue. It's not like there was a TikTok or Instagram video like, this is my bucket list, I want to go to Africa, Cape Town, the full drama. um Abram had the gift of faith in the Lord's deliverance of his promise, and he moved on it, right? So this is a legit place to trust that God showed him a vision and moved on it. Also, a key thing that we see is that God promises personal blessings to those who follow him in obedience and exhorts his people to be a blessing to others. Caleb Gordon has this bar that I love: being a blessing to people is better than finding a niche. And it is. When you understand the power of God and his favor to those who follow him in obedience, you truly walk in that light of favor. Remember, God sent Jesus to us so that we, the people, could get closer to God through the Son. And note that Jesus' biggest thing wasn't all about personal gain. It was about the people, getting them the knowledge that they needed to know about the God that they served. Jesus lived a life for the people and nothing else. So they're traveling and they're traveling through. Abram is creating these altars to serve God. One he made in Shechem. We stumble on the names. He made one in the hills of Bethel on the east and Ai on the west. And then he continued the Negev, where he also made one as well. There was a bad famine that caused him to go down to Egypt, which wasn't against what the Lord said to Abram. But here is the part where things begin to change. Abram said to his wife, "Girl, you're so beautiful. They're going to try to kill you to get to me. They're going to kill me to get to you." So tell me, my sister, this part is so important because this is where we see how that strong faith that we saw from Abram, and now started to become fear. It went out the window. So, me as a woman, what do you mean tell him I'm your sister? Even though later on in that text, it explains that Sarai was in fact his half sister. But we won't even touch on that right now. Let's focus on the fact that she is his wife. And even with you knowing that that's your half sister, you still chose to marry her. So to spare your life because you feel they will kill you, now you put this burden on your wife to fulfill certain duties. Well, we're not going to judge him, right? He's human. The duties aren't like she has to become a maid while they live a common life. No, based on the beauty of Sarai, she caught the attention of Pharaoh. And with Sarai catching the attention of Pharaoh, she became what I'm sure is one of his women, which essentially led to Abram's gained favor. So let's unpack that because here we go with another thing. When you settle for Pharaoh's favor out of fear when you already had God's favor? Pharaoh, God, Pharaoh. Like, what we doing? Because God already told you that He gave you favor. He already promised you to the nations. And Sarai catching the attention of the Pharaoh is not wasn't really good favor, because you have the things of you have the favor from Pharaoh, but at what cost? You got sheep, you got cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, camels. All of this came in multiple. You have to remember that coming from directly from the palace, Abram is getting the best of the best. But again, at what cost? His wife? I don't know too many men out there that are going to be like, yeah, let me get a camel. You can have my wife. Let me get a new car. You can have my wife. If you are you really under real covenant? Hmm. So now Pharaoh starts to get real sick, right? All because Abram is forgetting his promise from God. Pharaoh starts getting real sick because of Sarai. He's committing adultery. Look at God. One thing He's not gonna play about is His children. You could change the plans to make them your own. For instance, Abram exploiting his wife beauty for his own gain. Although Abram may have not known it would bring him favor in the Pharaoh's eyes with material gifts, he knew at least his life would be spared. But what Abram didn't know is who God said Sarai was. She was his child as well. He thought only for himself in fear. Sarai had favor from the Lord based on the text letting us know that she was beautiful, but she also had a hedge of protection over her that wouldn't allow her to endure something that she didn't sign up for. Now, the text never specifies that she spoke out against Abram, but we can confirm what she did end up with favor with some sort because of the gifts received and Pharaoh developing some serious illness. But as a woman, let alone a married one, you are not one that wants to just sleep with another man or to be pimped out by your husband. So I'm almost sure this didn't sit right with her. But God shut all that down like, yeah, no, not my baby. Pharaoh then summons Abram back and questions him, like, why you didn't tell me this was your wife? And why would you tell me this was your sister so I could take her for my wife? Yeah, no, I like my life. Y'all go where y'all going and take everything you have with you. Abram deceived Pharaoh by exploiting his wife for his own personal gain. Pharaoh comes to the realization, one way or another, that Sarai is married to Abram, but still doesn't kill him. The Pharaoh knew, the Pharaoh that we know, they all think of them highly of themselves, and some even think of themselves to be godlike. But this Pharaoh was actually smart. He saw the power of who covered them when he got sick. He saw the power of God when he committed adultery with another man's wife. And the word, because the word tells you not to commit adultery. He saw the power of the God's coverage of when you mess with those that follow him. And I'm almost more than sure that he saw the favor of Abram and Sarai that then became fear, which allowed him to send them off with everything that they had. Pharaoh was like, I want nothing to do with what they had. I'm not taking nothing, no backsies. I don't need you to just get from around me. In the King James Version, Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away and his wife and all that they had. It sounds like Pharaoh commanded his servants to pack them all up and leave the palace. Don't forget your wife too. So when we go further in the text, we know that Abram, who forgot God, said that said who he was and forgot who Sarai was. It was almost like they were looking for the gift of faith in the text. But we do see that Abram exercises his gift of leadership in the text when he makes the executive decision to part ways from Lot because their crews were conflicting. It was like it gave state versus southern. They started to clash, even though they're both the same people. Um, One can even say that whatever that Abram basically he sought leadership, like he showed leadership in that, and a little bit of selflessness. So he let Lot make a decision to go either left or right, and whatever decision he'll make, he'll go the other way. Like if you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left. Right? So that's how Abram gained his faith back with the Lord and his favor, because he put faith in the fact that no matter where I go, no matter where I end up, the Lord is going to cover me, because he noticed that in Egypt, when he thought he was going to die, the Lord still never let it happen anyway, right? And we know that it came through because Abram really was like, however you bless me, Lord, I'm going to take it. He understands that he will inhabit the promise of God. He even begins to live the life that we mentioned earlier about blessing, being a blessing to others. Offering land to Lot and his people when that was not specified to him by God to do so is what brought him back into God's grace. And we know that because in Genesis 13:14 through 7, the Lord promises Abram in all the land that he sees for him and his offspring forever. God is offering that generational wealth. He renews that promise to Abram. He reminded him again, you are who I say you are. Your offspring will be who I say it is. What I say goes. Remember that. One of the greatest lessons to learn from this is understanding that the walk with God, with following God and doing it in obedience, may mean that you may not always get it correct. But His coverage, anointing, and favor is greater than anything that may appear to be great. This part of the text teaches us that although you might get it wrong, God is a God that will keep his promise when you get back on his track. This teaches us that it's a blessing to be a blessing. He didn't have to award Lot his own land, but he did. And because he blessed Lot, God renewed his promise to Abram and blessed him yet again. God is a faithful God. And always remember, God says, you are who I say you are, and I said what I said. And now it's up to you to move in obedience to fulfill the promise. I hope this resonated with somebody. Remember, I love you, but God loves you more. And y'all have a great day.